Welcome back to the Stoic Mirror. Today, we journey deep into the mind of a woman, and deeper still, into the heart of a man who chooses stillness over chaos. This is not a tale of revenge, games, or ghosting. This is about the man who walks away without slamming the door, the man who chooses peace over performance, the man who understands one powerful Stoic truth. You only have power over your own soul, not hers, and in silence, you find it. What happens when a man stops talking to a woman? When the calls end, the texts go quiet, the energy is withdrawn, not in anger, but in calm detachment. What happens when the fire she once felt from your attention fades? She notices. At first, she may feel shock, confusion. Her mind rushes to fill the silence you've left behind. Why did he stop reaching out? Is he losing interest? Was I not enough? But here's where Stoicism separates the weak from the powerful. You don't react to a reaction. You don't chase answers. You don't explain yourself just to ease her mind. You understand the law of emotional gravity. That which pulls away creates tension. And so begins the cycle. 1. The shock of absence. In the beginning, she'll feel it like a disruption in her routine, a silence where your presence once echoed. It's not about ego, it's about pattern. You were a part of her world, now you're not. And that absence speaks louder than anything you could have said. Your silence is not cruelty, it's clarity. 2. Reflection and memory. Next, she starts to replay. The moments, the looks, the conversations, your calm demeanor, your steady voice, the way you didn't flinch when others folded. And the more she remembers, the more space you take up in her mind. Not because you forced her to think about you, but because you left her with the question, why did he stop? That's the paradox of masculine energy. When it retreats, it becomes more powerful. Stoicism teaches us this in every breath. Impact doesn't come from pressure. It comes from presence and the decision to remove it. 3. The boundary test begins. Then comes the test. She may reach out, subtly or with curiosity, masked as indifference. A random message, a like, a question. But she's not just reaching out for connection. She's testing your emotional spine. Will you break? Will you bend? Will you come running the moment she dangles a breadcrumb? A Stoic man does none of the above. He sees the test and he doesn't react. Not because he's playing hard to get, but because he is hard to move. 4. The need for closure. Women crave resolution. The moment she feels she can't read you anymore, she may want answers, but the answers are not yours to give, not unless they serve your inner truth. Stoic detachment doesn't mean silence forever. It means speaking when the moment aligns with your values, not her confusion. 5. Emotional fluctuations. Then comes a storm. She may get upset, cold, even angry, not because you wronged her, but because your silence forced her to meet herself, to confront her own behavior, her own patterns. You were the mirror, and when the mirror walked away, so did her sense of emotional control. Your absence stripped away the illusions. 6. Your worth revealed. This is where many men break. They hear from her again. They feel the tug. They interpret it as validation and come crawling back. But you must remember, you don't respond to energy that doesn't serve your peace. You respond to alignment, to reciprocity, to respect. When you withhold your attention, not out of spite, but out of standards, you show her something no words can. You know your value, and you don't trade it for scraps of attention 7. She reaches out again. If she truly cared, truly saw your worth, your silence will not drive her away. It will draw her in. Because a man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't explain becomes unforgettable. She may try again, this time with more intention, more softness. But that doesn't mean you owe her your return. Stoicism is about discipline, not just in detachment, but in what you allow back in. 8. You move forward, with or without her. Whether she comes back or not, you've already won. Why? Because your direction is forward, not anchored in her validation, not waiting on her reply. Your mission didn't pause, your purpose didn't bend, and your silence became sacred, not as a weapon, but as a boundary. Final thought. When you stop talking to a woman, it isn't just silence that fills the space, it's clarity. She'll begin to wonder why you've gone quiet. She'll try to fill in the blanks with stories, projections, questions that may never be answered. But you won't chase to correct her. You won't beg to be seen clearly. Because you've learned the deepest Stoic lesson of all, you don't need to be understood to be at peace. Your value doesn't increase with her attention. It doesn't shrink in her absence. You are not a reflection of her mood swings or her approval. You are the mountain. She may circle you, climb part way, retreat. She may marvel at your strength one day and curse your stillness the next. But you remain unmoved because the Stoic man knows he is not here to be validated. He is here to master himself. So when you stop talking to her, it's not because you hate her. It's because you found yourself again. You stop speaking not out of revenge, but because your peace finally got louder than your need to be heard. And in that silence, you became unforgettable. Not because of manipulation, but because you did the rarest thing a man can do in this modern world. You walked away without losing yourself. You didn't break down. You didn't react. You didn't beg for answers you didn't need. You simply stood still, calm, collected, clear. And in that stillness, she saw a version of you she never met before. The man who doesn't chase storms, he becomes a sky they pass through. This is the Stoic way. So if you're watching this now, remember this truth. A woman's silence may be loud, but your silence, when grounded in purpose, is thunder. Let her wonder. Let her reflect. Let her reach, but never let her pull you off your center. You've come too far to trade your peace for temporary validation. Let this silence be your strength. Let this distance be your discipline. And let your story be a quiet masterpiece of emotional control, restraint, and inner power. This is how men rise, not through noise, but through noble stillness. If this message struck a chord, make sure you subscribe to the Stoic Mirror, where we don't teach men to chase, we teach them to lead. Like this video if you've chosen peace over performance. Comment below. Have you ever gone silent and seen her behavior change? Your story might help another man rise. And share this with a brother who's going through it right now. Stay strong, stay centered, win quietly. This is the Stoic Mirror.